Good morning, y'all. It's Lippy with Gemini Homestead. As I mentioned on our Friday Live, we were going to do a weekly series starting today, Monday, through Friday, some substitute videos, meaning with what's going on, maybe there's things that you need that you can't find, or you're at stay at home, stay in place, not able to go. And the first thing I wanted to bring for our little substitute, because some of you may have this, plus I did do some research. In this little can right here, little bitty can called tomato paste, I keep an abundance of. You can get all you want. So the shelves are not bare with this, because a lot of people, I don't think, really realize how important this because they're for $1 here, this 25-cent can is. So what I've done is I've got 2 cans still to work with, but I've got 2 cans measured out in 1 tablespoon measurements. Now I get about 11 tablespoons per can. And what I've done is I've just set them out on a cookie sheet, and I'll do these other 2, and I'm going to set them in the freezer. And I'm going to let them freeze. When I come back, I'm going to show you what I do with these. I think it gets a bad rap, y'all. There's so much sitting in 1 tablespoon of tomato paste. I promise you. So we'll get these froze. We'll come back, and I'll tell you what I use them for. We're back. About 2.5 hours is all it took. Now here's my little bag that, as you can see why I had to put some more up. I'm running low. I think I may have 9 left. So all I did was measure the tomato paste out by tablespoons. Laid them on some clear wrap on the cookie sheet and just let them flash freeze. And now all I'm going to do is pick them up, set them into my freezer bag. Then as I need a tablespoon, I've got it ready. So I'm going to finish these, and I'm going to give you a list of things you can do with it. Got that done. Got me a cup of coffee. I was actually reading some mail, but I'll get into that in a minute. There's a special lady. Matter of fact, I want to dedicate this little video to Miss Sparks. I don't want to give her first name. Miss Sparks, your cards, your kind words, your thoughtful letters mean the world to me. And it seems like every time I receive one, the words that you say within those cards and in those letters actually heal me, because it's usually if I have something heavy on my mind or on my chest, it pops up a card from you or a letter. I thank you, Miss Sparks. Be looking in the mail. You might have something coming your way. So anyway, and I don't mean to rock the table, I was trying to get comfortable. The tomato paste. Now, as I said, I wanted to do a 5-day series of things that you may be out of. You know, you're at a stay-in-place situation. There's things that you may have, or if you can order. As I told you, I looked. No one's buying tomato paste. That's because I think it gets a bad rap. You know, tomato paste can be pungent, metallic-like, bitter almost. And that's just because what happens is when you make tomato paste, and some of you may know this, you cook it down. Then you remove the pulp, the seeds, the skin. You remove all of that. And then it cooks down very, very slow into a paste consistency. That's where the sugars and all start to kind of caramelize. I'm a fan of tomato paste. But I know one of those little cans you're using only, what, a tablespoon at a time? If it's soup, for instance, you're using maybe 2. And it's one of those things you just stick in the refrigerator, in the back corner, you forget about it. Or you may freeze a little bit of it and it gets down into the deep freeze and there again you've lost it. But tomato paste is probably the best flavoring agent. What I do with mine, for instance, if I'm going to do a pot roast, we're going to start with that. You're going to brown your pot roast as most you do. Then you're going to start caramelizing your onions or your peppers or your vegetables. When they are almost done, and I'm just talking vegetables across the board, you pull that out, frozen and all, 1 tablespoon, and you put it in that hot pot. You let it melt. You're going to be on like a medium heat at this point. You may have to crank it down to low. And you want to cook that tomato paste. You literally want to cook it for 2 to 3 minutes. You may have to take your pot off. You don't want to scorch it. And what you're going to do is you're going to bring that metal taste out. The flavor is so sweet, not in a sugarness, but it brings out the rest of that gratin, the sticky stuff on the bottom that you get in every pot, whether it be meat or vegetables that you are sauteing. It pulls those flavors together. And then you proceed on with your broth, with your stock, whatever it is that your liquid is going in. You'll never taste the tomato taste. I promise you. It really enhances. So therefore, if you have no broth, when you add a little bit of water, because you can't go to the store, you can't get any, you don't have any put up, it's going to bring out the flavors of your vegetables. Not the tomato flavor, the flavor of what it brought in and enhanced. I dearly love tomato paste. I do it with chicken. I do it with beef. I do it with pork. It's phenomenal. If you want a Tex-Mex, say black beans, when you saute your onions for a black bean and rice recipe, take 1 of the tablespoons out right at the end of your sauteing. There again, melt it in, marry it 2 to 3 minutes. Sends it over the top, because not all of us, some of us, maybe none of us, have any kind of broth. No bouillon, none of this. It will not do you wrong. Now, if you need tomato juice for a recipe, heat you up a cup of boiling water. Cook that in a little bitty skillet, just the tomato paste, 2 to 3 minutes. Pour it over into your cup of water, stir it in. You have got a can of tomato sauce. Yeah, and it is phenomenal. Phenomenal. And it's a whole lot cheaper. 1 tablespoon to a cup of warm water. There again, 2 to 3 minutes in a skillet, you've got tomato sauce. That's why I am a fan. Takes up no storage, and I'm at the end of my tomatoes. I have 1 pint left. That's going to be my go-to until I can then put my tomatoes up for the following year. But I keep it year-round. It's just an easy go-to, because what if I don't need a pint jar? I just need that little tablespoon. Now, rusty items, your shovels, your hand shovels, everything that's metal, a knife. Take 1 of those out. Now, it's going to be messy. And you put it on your hand, because it's going to melt fairly easy. You rub it on that rust all over your shovel. 1 tablespoon will do a full shovel. Actually, 1 tablespoon will do like 5 knives. You rub it and rub it. Minute or 2. Let it sit for 10 minutes. Rinse it off. You don't have any rust. Then you can go back and retreat your metal, whether it be shovels. I like to treat mine with a little bit of oil or a WD or something like that, unless it's going into the garden, just for yard use, so it doesn't rust. That's what I use it for. So it's very versatile. It doesn't break the bank. But I really would like y'all to think about that, especially with the times that we are in. Because you get caught up at the stove and it's like, well, I need this, but I don't have this. Get a hold of you 2 cans. I think I did see where there was one store had them for 35 cents. Like I said, I paid 25 cents. That is 22 cookies. Remember, there's 1 tablespoon for a cookie. There's 11 tablespoons in a can. Measurement says 12. I can get 11. Most time I get 10 because I'm kind of heavy scooping. But I'm not going to talk any longer. Tomorrow, you're going to love tomorrow's substitute. But go get you some tomato paste. And Miss Sparks, this video was for you. Look in the mail next few days. I got you something coming. Y'all, let's be kind to each other. Let's love one another. Let's share tips with each other. We all have them. These are hard times we're in. We can't go anywhere. But sharing a substitute idea may help someone. See you guys tomorrow. God bless.